Hello and welcome in, my beautiful butterflies. So this video, guys, is going to be off of a previous video that I've already done, which was the birth rates were dropping between the ages of 15 to 19 years old. This video is going to be why the birth rates are dropping. Now, technically, they're saying that annually it costs like $400,000 at least to raise a kid. So with the economy going the way that it is and everything else, people are like, just give me some pets, or either they just not having kids, or they prefer pets. Pets are a little expensive too, though, without some things maybe included that you gotta have for kids.
The
Give me
birth
some
rate so low in
comments.
2026? What do you mean you don't want to have kids? You're telling me you don't want sleepless nights, endless tantrums, messy diapers, and the privilege of paying for outrageous childcare costs? You're telling me you don't want embarrassing maternity leave or non-existent paternity leave? You don't want to bring a baby into a country where the parents are expected to be back at work before the baby can even hold her head up, where mothers are expected to care for everyone before they've even recovered emotionally, physically, or mentally? Honestly, what's your problem? You don't want the American dream?
Welcome on to the channel, beautiful butterflies. Welcome on into my channel. Which will bring us into this video, guys, which is completely crazy to me. We're going to go ahead and play, but guys, please leave me some comments about what you guys think about this situation here.
Baby.
What you don't want the baby for?
I can't do this. I already got two fucking kids. I can't. I barely even want those two kids.
Yeah, but you told me to do it and I did it.
You're talking out of the ordinary right now. I don't want these kids. I don't want none of these kids.
Yes, you do. Stop eyeing up, bro.
I don't want none of these fucking kids.
What you gonna do then? Cause we not getting up. We not doing the abortion thing, bro. That's not
It's
what
not
we
even
doing.
about getting a fucking abortion. It's about me not wanting to be a mom no more. I don't want to be a mom
For
at
what?
all.
What made you not want to be a mama no more? Cause the baby's always crying. You gotta wake up.
It's too much. It's too much for me. You sitting here.
You doing the most for what, bro? You over here choking and stuff for what? All because of kids, bro, that you sat down and had. Yes, you do want to do it.
I'm not strong enough.
Yes, you is. Stop crying. Just stop crying, bro. Please stop crying.
Body looks horrible. These three kids is fucking my body up. I don't have it in me no more to be a mom.
Men could give birth how
Now, she more than likely was maybe going through postpartum depression. Who knows? Because who knows how old her youngest child is. But the idea is, guys, for the most part, it does do a number on our bodies. Women, we know this. Most men don't they maybe understand, but they don't fully understand it. But it's emotional, it's physical, it's mental, it's everything wrapped into one. Most people, by the time they're like 6 months pregnant, is like, get this thing out of me, let me pop this thing out. And they still got many more months to go. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back into this, guys, because guys wouldn't do this video right here.
much do you think our birth rate would drop? I saw a post shared by a Chinese guy. He said if I, as a man, had to endure all the labor pain, I would 100% choose to stay child-free. He said, ask any man if he had to go through unbearable pain, a body that changes shape drastically, hormonal imbalance, extreme emotional swings, damage to bodily functions, and a serious setback in his career. And the reward for all of that is a crying baby that needs his care 24/7. He would absolutely refuse. If a man says he'd agree, he's lying because he knows it will never happen to him, so he can say whatever he wants. Men can never in their entire lives make up for the enormous price women pay in childbirth. That's why those who benefit from the system can so easily dismiss women's pain and sacrifice.
Breaking news. Only rich people can afford children. So a new study says if you want 2 kids in America and you want childcare to count as affordable under that cute little 7% of your income benchmark that the federal government has said, well, you need to make over $400,000 a year as a couple. 400,000. Meanwhile, the average 2-person household is pulling in around $145,000 a year. That means that most families would need a 176% pay increase just to be able to breathe. So when folks say, why aren't women having babies? Maybe it's because diapers cost like car notes and daycare feels like a second mortgage. Having kids in this economy is like signing up for a lifetime subscription that you cannot cancel. Quiet is kept.
Right.
Families need triple the income just to be able to afford children. So let me ask y'all this. Are you paying more than 7% of your income towards childcare? And did the cost of living influence whether or not you have kids at all? Because this conversation, we need to have it.
I'm 30
Guys, leave me some comments because recently just learned that it's like 1,000 to 2,000, whether it's weeks or months, like a month or like within weeks when you do daycare. And I was just like, whoa, like that's the price of like for most people's rent or mortgage payment if they're not paying more than that on top of a car note and everything else, like they were saying previously in here. So that's just crazy to me.
years old. Not one of my friends has children. Zero. No one. No one's having kids. Do you know how hard you need to abuse a mammal to make them not have children? Like for real. Like let's step here back a moment, right?
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, look, GDP goes up. People have have enough food, you know, and whatever. No one's having kids, and this is across the world. This is across both the West, the East, you know, everywhere it's happening. So there's a thing that happens, especially with younger like even younger than me. Like the kids are like 18 today. There's a huge problem where they don't dance. No one dances. They go to clubs and they don't dance. Why is this? Because you get recorded.
Yeah.
If you're an 18-year-old kid, you go to a club, you get recorded. If you approach a girl and you mess it up, you get recorded. Everything is the panopticon now. So if you had to ask me why, my answer is technology. My answer is social media. My answer is AI. My answer is algorithms. Do you know what dating app algorithms do? Do you know how they optimize? They don't optimize you to meet your love of your life. They optimize you to keep coming back to the app.
Yeah.
And now there's a thing that basically we have sold out all of our dating norms, all of our, our interpersonal norms to tech companies without our consent to optimize their ad algorithms. I think there's a deep thing where we as a society have not dealt with the fact that we have to steward technology responsibly. We have treated technology as a Wild West.
Absolutely.
Just everyone can do whatever they want. Just sell all of our younger generation's dating lives to corporations for profit. And who pays the cost for this? Who has liability?
They do.
So I think the real problem is that we are, as a society, as a government, the generations that came before me, and also my generation, I don't want to exclude myself from this, but also the generation came before me, just let technology rip. The promise was, if you let technology rip, if you let internet rip, there will be democracy and freedom and happiness and economic growth. And where is that? And I think my generation is noticing that broken promise.
Statistic that might surprise you. The U.S. birth rate has fallen more than 25% since 2007. Right now, the United States sees about 11 births per 1,000 people each year. Another way economists measure this is the fertility rate. In the U.S., that number is roughly 1.6 children per woman. For comparison, the global average is about 2.3 children per woman, which is close to what demographers call the replacement level. Roughly 2.1, the rate needed to keep a population stable. India sits around 2.0, close to replacement level. Mexico is around 1.9. The United States is now well below that replacement rate.
Our birth rates are in steep decline, and the richer your country is, the more likely it's happening. Between 2010 and 2020, more than 70% of developed countries saw a decline in their fertility rates, the number of children born per woman. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that in less than 20 years, America will have more deaths than births, at which point the only way for the population to grow would be through immigration. There's actually a lot of disagreement as to whether this represents a problem, and if so, how much of a problem. For every figure like Elon Musk, who's called population decline an existential risk, you'll find others who say, we don't have that much to worry about.
At first glance, that sounds alarming. An aging population means fewer workers paying taxes to support retirees. Countries rely on younger generations to keep the economy moving, fund social security, and support public programs. And immigration often helps fill that gap. But immigration into the United States has slowed significantly. Fewer babies can create long-term economic pressure. But the story behind the numbers is more complicated. A big part of the decline isn't coming from women deciding to never have children. It's coming from fewer teenagers and very young women having babies. Since 2007, the teen birth rate has dropped about 70%. Births among unmarried women have also fallen by about 30%. For decades, the country spent an enormous effort trying to reduce teen pregnancy and encourage women to wait until they were more financially stable before having children. And that's largely what happened. More women are choosing to finish school, build careers, and establish financial stability before becoming parents. Reliable birth control has also played a major role. Long-term contraception like IUDs and implants became much more widely used during the same period. As a result, childbirth in America has shifted later in life. Women in their early 30s now have the highest birth rate of any age group, and women in their early 40s are actually more likely to give birth than teenagers. So while fewer babies are being born overall, the majority of women still say they want children, usually around 2. They're just having them later. If Americans still want children, but are waiting longer to have them, will those births eventually balance out, or is the country entering a new era of slower population growth? Let me know your thoughts.
Really freaking out,
And
brother.
I'm
Why
gonna
are the
pause here briefly because also a lot of people don't understand or realize that a lot of the food, allegedly, the food that they're giving us, allegedly, is also a problem with infertility.
birth rates plummeting? It just doesn't make any sense. We're doing everything right. We slashed funding for childcare support. We trivialized the Me Too movement. The relentless shaming of women who breastfeed in public. We relentlessly mocked women's sports. Defunding women's health clinics and Planned Parenthood. There's tens of thousands of backlog rape testing kits. I mean, we put a lot of effort into defending sexual predators and actual pedophiles. We've offered classes on how to manipulate, drug, and rape women. The medical field has never taken women's health seriously. We've criminalized miscarriages. We're trying to make it harder for married women to vote. We even blame the women for the male loneliness epidemic, men taking their own lives, and young boys acting out in school. We're one of the only major modern countries that doesn't recognize femicide. We send women who are miscarrying home to bleed to death. A lot of states have gotten rid of no-fault divorce, making it much harder for abused women to leave their abusive partners. We offer little to no maternity support or time off. Even the father of gynecology experimented on enslaved black women without anesthesia. We've worked tirelessly with the systemic shaming of women's bodies and their functions, like their periods. Nasty. We made it so that men convicted of sexual crimes usually only spend about 5 years in prison, while we've made it that having a miscarriage is 15 years in prison for
Which
a
is
woman.
crazy.
What else could we possibly do? We commit 97% of the violent crime and 98% of the sexual assaults. I don't understand why they don't want to have our babies. I don't know why they don't want to have our babies. Why?
So the thing is, guys, they're saying that, but at the same time, the other things at hand, yet, like I said, infertility, again, all alleged, is a lot to deal with the food. And the fact that if you go to the previous video that I've done, which was The Handmaid's Tale, that's pretty much how they want to treat us. So Project 2027 is all I'm going to say, and we're going to jump back into this video, guys. Ladies, we really need to pay attention. It's already happening.
They don't want our babies.
The biggest thing of why birth rates are at an all-time low because of how shitty the economy is. The cost of daycare, the cost of groceries, the cost of healthcare. I just feel like everything about the government being upset about the birth rates is like a complete contradiction. The only true reason why they care because eventually y'all are not going to be getting as much money as you were. People pay into Social Security and Medicare and all those things. They look at our birth rates as money. You can't make it to the point where people can't survive, but you still want us to have children. It's so much things that play into it as well. You're kicking immigrants out the country. If people are not having enough children, aka not making y'all enough money, why don't y'all take the immigrants, even the ones that are here illegally, why don't you just help them become legal immigrants? If they were already here for so many years working and they were paying taxes, instead of kicking them out, just making them legal because they were tax-paying citizens. If y'all waiting on us to have children, y'all gotta wait at least 18 years for them to start paying taxes. I think people really sleep on what immigrants do for this country. We also don't realize by kicking them out how it can make it worse too. That means we're gonna have to eventually start paying more taxes. Some of the industries that rely on immigrants: labor, construction, agriculture, healthcare support, hospitality, transportation, childcare, heavily depend on immigrants. So you gotta think, if you're taking them away, childcare is already expensive, so it's just going to keep going up. Construction is already expensive. It's just going to keep going up.
You guys might want to sit down for this. You're not going to like the numbers I'm about to give you. So the United States just hit a record low for infant fertility. Record low of all time since we've ever been tracking it. So every woman of childbearing age is giving birth to just under 1.6 babies, just enough to replace us, okay? the lowest ever. And we know why that is. We just don't have a country that makes it easy for women to have that choice and to not have the stress of worrying about access to health care, finances, and you name it, right? Right.
Yeah.
This is true of most other countries in Europe and you name it. Their birth rates are declining, except for one country. One country has a
which one is
strong
that?
growth. Can you guess which country?
No, but you're going to tell us.
Israel.
Mm-hmm.
3 babies for every female of childbearing age. And you'd be happy to know how heavily subsidized everything is.
That cuts off, guys, but the idea, you get it. Pets.
I think y'all understand how dire this is, bro. I've been telling y'all we've been in this shit for about 2 to 3 years now. This is the shit.
I did look for this video when I did the dropping birth rates between the ages of 15 and 19 previous to this video. If you didn't see it, you may want to watch that. But this video was the one that I was talking about there, where they were saying that there was no child born in this hospital. And then within 50 miles, there was no other children born.
Taking a turn for the worst.
In the future is for them to have melanin in their skin, so that's the way for me to, make my legacy continue.
Like, really?
Okay, go ahead. So let me speak a little bit about the reality that 1 in 3 Americans are underbabied. What does underbabied mean? That means that you either don't have any children or you have less children than you would normally want to have. And to Katie's point, we have a crisis that's causing our fertility rate to drop below 1.5. The replacement rate is 2.1. So we're way below what we need just to replace the people that we have in America. And here, just
of course, for Trump RX, we have, as Dr. Oz pointed out, a fertility crisis in this country right now. We just found out that we've dropped now to 1.57%. The replacement rate is 2.1. 100 years ago, we were at 3.27, so more than double than we are today. We are approaching the cataclysmic rates that Japan and China are now experiencing that is threatening their economy.
And whose fault is that? So conservative men will cry about declining birth rates and say we're too emotional to run a country, but somehow calm enough to raise children. You think we're intellectually like children, but intellectually like children, but expect us to raise children into adults. Women who are nurturers, but when we nurture ourselves is called selfish. Nurturing seems to have some fine print I missed. And we're too irrational to vote, but somehow logical enough to keep the entire household running without a breakdown. Fascinating oversight. Where you want to be nurturing, or you want women to be nurturing, but the second we nurture our own dreams, it's called selfish. Guess that only works when it benefits you. You want women to act like ladies, but only when you're watching off camera. You're expected to clean like a maid, manage like a CEO, and love like a saint. Quite the performance. The women say, they say women belong at home, but somehow the home doesn't belong to us in divorce court. Curious arrangement. Tactics. You say women should respect themselves, but somehow that respect vanishes if we dare to say not to you or no to you. How very respectable of you. Guys, let me know what you think about this. I mean, my thoughts and opinions is, yeah, nobody's having kids because it's too dang on expensive. I mean, a daycare, you're paying $1,000 to $2,000, like I said, weekly or monthly. Somebody leave me some comments, fact check me on that. And then the food alone, which again is allegedly causing infertility, one. And then two, you have all these bills like your car payment, your house payment, whatever else you have going on in your life. And then they think that we're supposed to have kids and you're barely getting paid anything to basically take care of yourself without the kids that you probably already have or don't have. Yeah, I think we're all good. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Leave me some comments. And please make sure to like and subscribe only if you enjoy this type of content, guys. I'm out.